Let's
Like,
talk
oh,
about that. Congratulations on 37 years of Darkness Descends. You guys
okay,
have been globetrotting.
a little bit,
Yeah,
absolutely.
as Dark Angel. I mean, there's so many things we could go into. You leaving Testament to go Dark Angel, fairly full time.
Right.
There's a lot of things, and there's, I don't even want to hear if there was any politics. It seems like it was amicable and totally
Oh,
cool.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and you
Scheduling.
guys are probably all sweet to each other like brothers. I'm
Right.
sure. Yes, yes,
Hmm.
yes. And then the Death to All tour is tours plural in between things, but
Right.
Dark Angel, Dark Angel, I think is something that I want to talk about. The response, the sellouts, the resurgence, all of these things people would like to try to make happen for a band they started or joined or were a part of when they were didn't have any ball hair,
Pretty much.
you know what I mean? And you've done it. You guys have done it, and you're solid. And the love that you have, and the family style that you have with Dark Angel, and you
Mhm.
guys are a ball of love, just crushing the planet. I was watching from afar, just almost in tears and of joy, and just like hugging you guys so as hard as I could from this chair, from my car, from just hearing about you guys doing this shit for something that's been around for 40 fucking years, and you're out there doing it. Give me your feelings, because I'm feeling like you guys were just on such a fucking high.
Well, yeah, God, you're gonna give me tears, Jason. That's amazing. Thank you.
Dude, it's real. It's fucking real, bro.
Well, I tell you that ball of love. I mean, that was what came from just like uh, teenage aggression and and how it's come to this point where you can still have that aggression and enthusiasm that you had when you were a teenager, but you've got some seasoning as being an adult dude and lady now. That we're we're pretty stoked that we get to do this. And I've always said, if well, I can't say that, but I guess I've come to more in more recent times that if there are people that are interested, then we are interested to come play for you, kind of thing. And because there was a long time when I just thought, I guess, Dark Angel, a fantastic, wonderful part of my past, the genesis of what helped, kind of propel me to the whatever other places I've been able to go to musically. It was a fantastic genesis, but some things might be better left in the past because you can't improve upon those things. But one thing, when we did get back together about a decade ago, that was really from a kind of hey, the schedule has kind of opened up. You kind of can go do this if you wanted to. And we were always pals. Dark Angel never broke up due to any kind of animosity or anything. We were always brothers and friends. The band just sort of dissolved, and there wasn't any big, there's no heartbreak involved in anything. And so we were always pals and we were always friends. And when the opportunity arose to, hey guys, reaching out to each other, we're a few things are starting to occur where we could go out and play a few shows if we wanted. And everybody was like, I'm in, let's do it. And it was, the vibe was so different on a much cooler, way more elevated level when we got back together. We're all adults. I stopped being a jerk, because I was a taskmaster back in the day. And after hanging out with the unicorn Laura Christine for a number of years, it's like that softened my butter quite a bit. And so I'm a big softie with the guys, and we were all real soft with each other, and it just became such a familial effort of indeed love, and we love the music, we love each other. If people are interested in seeing Dark Angel, then we're happy to bring it to people. And so we had done an initial run of shows, and those went so well and so smooth that Jim Durkin, he brought a couple of tunes to the table pretty quickly. And that's where I was like, my word, God, Jim, these are so Dark Angel. So these are the coolest couple of tunes I've heard in some time. So yeah, like let's start getting together, Jim. And he's like, okay, cool, let's do this. And one thing Jim always told us was, I'm going to do as much as I can, because after he left from Dark Angel back in like 1989, he got himself a very lucrative career outside the music industry, and he's like, I'll be a part of everything that I can be, but you never know, there could be some things up in the future. I'll do as many gigs as I can. I'm not sure about like a big whole tour, but some weekend warrior kind of things, a couple of dates here and there. I'll do what I can. And sure enough, Jim did for so long. And it was when, he chose his replacement, Laura Christine. He went to her himself and said, you're my favorite guitarist. I want you to replace me, because I have now played my final show with Dark Angel. It later turned out to be that the show he was thinking was his final show was not his final show. But he still told Laura, like, I want you to, I want the band to be able to continue. I want to just be in the background, write music, write with Gene. That we're trying to write together. I still want to do that, but maybe from the live touring aspect, that might not be for me from this point on. So Laura, what do you think about jumping in and taking over? And, it was a surprise to Laura. She was looking at me like, both of us like, did you guys even talk about this? And Jim's like, wow. No, I'm laying this on you right here, right now. And she's like, well, it's an honor. I'd love to, help the band out. Of course. I love you guys. I want you guys to be able to, I love you, Jim, and I want you to be able to, everybody to be happy. So I'm in. And we did not expect for Jim's life to be cut short as soon as it was. And that was such a shock to us all. Yeah. Indeed, he might not have been in the live touring lineup at the time, but he's still in the band. He was still like, we had 6 members, one of which is live, is being place sat by another member. But Jim's passing was very unexpected, very shocking. Like for Jim to go MIA from like text threads and email threads, and a lot of times Eric Meyer was, hey man, I called Jim, left a message for him, haven't heard back from him. I'm like, yeah, me too. I called him a couple weeks ago, haven't heard back. That was par for the course with Jim. We just thought, Jim's busy. It was really just, Jim will get back to us a couple months later, say, hey guys, it's been crazy at work. I'm here, all that kind of stuff. And this time it just didn't happen. I got a call from Ron Reinhardt, our vocalist, while I was on the Death to All tour. I found out like 2 days before I saw you guys. I'm like, I remember it was April 9th. I'm sorry, March. Yeah. March 9th when I found out, and saw you guys on like March 11th or something like that, and it was an absolute devastating shock from, Jim has been my brother since I was, a teenager, like you've been my brother, Jason, and for him to be a little bit MIA, like I say, par for the course. I did not think that was going to be the final time we ever spoke. It was the time before that when we did speak. Just so it was very challenging to get that news in the middle of a tour when there's not much you can do. And there's nothing you can do. Jim was gone. So
Yeah.
we've just tried to show as much support to his wife Annie as we can, and and Jim is still such an important part of Dark Angel. We would not be here without Jim, and Jim was my biggest guitar influence when I was a kid. His style, like he was doing things nobody else was doing on guitar, and riff writing, and that's why I wish Darkness Descends came out with a better production, to really showcase his riffs. It was kind of an odd sounding. Dark Angel's always been kind of an odd sounding band. Darkness Descends, We Have Arrived. I'm sorry, Leave Scars. Two not fantastic sounding records. But Jim's approach was one of a kind, and so it definitely had its imprint upon me. So if there is going to be any Dark Angel music coming in the future, although Jim might not have many actual riffs in Dark Angel's music, his approach and his style is definitely going to be there. So that's how that stands. He's our brother. We miss him, and things we do, it's in a tribute to him. But we never want to be, we never want to be uncomfortable with it. We want to celebrate his life, celebrate Jim Durkin, rather than be, maudlin or anything. We want to celebrate his impact on us anyway, on and whatever impact he had on metal. He is an absolute godfather of thrash metal. He's one of the first guys doing it, totally. So, I'd like the world to know that. I know we would like the world to know that Jim is one of the progenitors of this style. Absolutely. So there you go.